If you were to gather every dollar bill, every euro, every yen, and every single coin in existence and stack them up, you might think you'd have the full picture of the world's money supply. But you'd be wrong. Very wrong. The money you can physically hold in your hands is only a tiny fraction of what actually exists. In reality, most of the world's money isn't printed, minted, or stored in physical form at all. It exists as numbers on a screen, figures in a bank ledger, or digital records floating through cyberspace. This raises a fundamental question. How much money is really out there? And if most money doesn't exist in a tangible form, who decides how much of it there is, and why can't we just create more whenever we want? The illusion of physical money is deeply ingrained in our minds. People still talk about cash as if it's the foundation of our economy, but in truth, cash is a relic of an older system, one that has been almost completely replaced by digital transactions. As of 2024, estimates suggest that all the physical money in the world, meaning the total value of all coins and banknotes in circulation, is around $8 trillion. That might seem like a lot, but it's barely a fraction of the total amount of money in existence. When you add up all the digital transactions, bank accounts, financial instruments, and global assets, the actual value of money in circulation skyrockets to well over $100 trillion. And if you include stock markets, derivatives, and complex financial agreements, the number balloons into the quadrillions. In other words, physical money is just the tip of an enormous financial iceberg. So, where does all this money come from? Contrary to popular belief, governments don't just print money whenever they want. In fact, most money is not created by printing presses at all. Instead, it is generated through an intricate system of central banks, commercial banks, and financial markets. Every country has a central bank. The Federal Reserve in the United States, the European Central Bank in the Eurozone, the Bank of England in the UK, and so on. These institutions control the supply of money and ensure that it doesn't spiral out of control. But they don't just produce cash and distribute it. Instead, they manipulate money supply through complex financial mechanisms, primarily by setting interest rates, issuing government bonds, and controlling the amount of money banks can lend. While central banks are responsible for creating the foundation of money in an economy, commercial banks are the ones that actually expand the money supply. When you deposit money in a bank, it doesn't just sit there waiting for you to withdraw it. Banks take that money and lend it out to others, effectively creating new money in the process. If you deposit $1,000 in your bank account, the bank can legally lend out a large portion of that amount, often up to 90%, while still counting your full deposit as existing money. This process, known as fractional reserve banking, means that money is essentially being created out of thin air. The same dollar can be lent, spent, and redeposited multiple times, dramatically expanding the total amount of money in circulation. The rise of digital banking and online transactions has only amplified this phenomenon. With the vast majority of transactions now taking place electronically, money no longer needs to exist in physical form. When you check your bank balance on your phone, you're not looking at a stack of bills stored somewhere in a vault. You're looking at a number that represents a claim on money that may or may not exist in tangible form. Digital transactions move billions of dollars every second, yet there's no corresponding physical movement of cash. This raises another question. If most money is digital, what stops governments and banks from simply creating an unlimited amount of it? The answer lies in the delicate balance of inflation and economic stability. If a country prints too much money, the value of its currency collapses. History is filled with examples of economies that have suffered due to excessive money creation. Zimbabwe in the early 2000s is one of the most extreme cases. The government printed so much money that inflation soared to over 79 billion%, making their currency practically worthless. A loaf of bread went from costing a few dollars to billions in a matter of months. Similar hyperinflation crises have occurred in Venezuela, Germany, and Argentina after World War I. These examples serve as stark reminders that money must be managed carefully, or it can quickly lose all meaning. While inflation is a constant concern, the financial system also relies on something even more fragile: trust. Money, in its essence, has no intrinsic value. A $100 bill is just a piece of paper. It only has worth because people believe it does. The entire global economy operates on this belief. If people lose trust in a currency, whether because of reckless government policies, economic instability, or financial crises, the value of that currency can plummet overnight. This is why central banks take their jobs so seriously. They must control the money supply in a way that maintains stability, prevents inflation from getting out of hand, and ensures that people continue to trust the financial system. But as the world moves further into the digital age, new challenges are emerging. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others have introduced an entirely new way of thinking about money, one that operates outside the control of governments and banks. Unlike traditional currencies, cryptocurrencies are not created by central banks. Instead, they are generated through blockchain technology, using decentralized networks and mathematical algorithms. This has led some to question whether traditional money is even necessary anymore. Could we one day live in a world where central banks no longer control the money supply, where all financial transactions are handled through digital currencies that are immune to government manipulation? For now, central banks remain in control, but the idea of money is changing faster than ever before. The rise of cashless societies, where nearly all transactions are done electronically, is making physical money increasingly obsolete. In countries like Sweden, cash transactions account for less than 10% of all payments, and many businesses no longer accept paper money at all. China has gone even further, with digital payment platforms like Alipay and WeChat Pay dominating daily life, reducing the need for cash almost entirely. So, how much money is actually in circulation? The answer depends on how you define money. If you mean physical cash, the total is around $8 trillion. If you include all digital bank accounts, it's over $100 trillion. If you factor in financial markets, derivatives, and global assets, the number is too large to truly comprehend, potentially in the quadrillions. And yet, most of it exists only as numbers in a digital system, dependent on trust, faith, and the decisions of financial institutions. Money is one of the most powerful forces in the world, yet it remains one of the least understood. The next time you check your bank account, ask yourself, how much of this actually exists? The answer is more complicated than it seems, and as technology continues to reshape the way we think about currency, the very concept of money may change forever. Whether that's for better or worse remains to be seen. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.